So, Highland Noise Podcast. I'm Shane.
I'm Glory.
And we're here with
James from James and the Cold Gun.
And with some questions to say about their new album, Face in the Mirror. So, congrats on that, by the way. How do you feel about the response to it so far?
Yeah, great so far. It's been it's been good to finally get it out. We've this one took a little bit longer to kind of get together, so to finally kind of see it all out in the world after all the processes and getting records printed and everything. It takes a long time, so it's good to finally kind of release it.
Hell yeah! Well, the album rips.
Oh yeah, it fucks.
Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you so much, and I really appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Of course, yeah.
I'm curious, since you mentioned it took a minute to get out, the timeline for the album, when you guys kind of started writing it, when you had the masters in hand. Rough dates don't have to be exact.
That's good because I probably won't remember the exact date.
That's good. I wouldn't either.
I'm the worst one for that. Well, I think it might have even been summer 22. And we'd been writing a bunch of songs, and we'd bagged like a few days on a West Coast tour. I think it was like October time, maybe 22. Could have been later. It's all right. We don't need the exact dates. Yeah. But we spent like a week in Seattle recording.
Mm-hmm.
So we had the producer who was kind of like, because we produced our previous record, so we were kind of going into the headspace of like doing that this time around, and he kind of did some producing, did some engineering for us with a guy called John Robb as well, and we spent like 5 days. Well, we only had 5 days in the studio to try and record a whole album.
Damn.
Which was, I'm going to tell you now, it's not enough time. It's definitely not enough time to do that. So we kind of raced through everything, and I think we ended up with like 7 tracks maybe. Some which got used kind of pre-album release. Mm-hmm. So we put out 2 songs, Sting in the Tail and Fragile, and those were recorded in Seattle. Mm-hmm. But because it was taking so long to get together, we were like, we need to release something now. So those ones felt kind of like good in between ones. So yeah, we did all that, came back home, and then listened back to it. We were like, it kind of sounds rushed. It's not perfect. And yeah, we're always like perfectionists when it comes to kind of this kind of thing. Because like once you put it out, it's out there it's out there forever. So exactly. So we spent the we had some more touring as well, but we spent kind of the first half of 23 just kind of retracking stuff, and I think we kept all of the drums from those sessions, and I think most of the bass, but a lot of the guitars and vocals we just kind of redid, just to our taste a bit more, and just like allowing us the time to do it, while also trying to write some new songs to finish the record because it was still ongoing at this point.
Yeah.
And I think we finished it all. It was super last minute because we kind of done everything, and we were going off on tour with Duff McKagan. It was like UK and Europe in October 23. I think it's either that or it's 23 and 24. It's one of those two.
Okay.
But it was basically the October. And we done everything, and we wanted to put some backing vocals from Gabby on the record because we'd been experimenting with it a bit, but we hadn't had time to bring her down. So it was literally, we were packing the van. We had 2 people packing the van, and I was there with Gabby recording backing vocals to kind of add to this record. We literally had like 2 hours to do it. But yeah, October that year, I'm going to say October 23, it was kind of finally finished and sent off for mixing and everything. And we got in the van and went on a tour for a month.
Wow.
So, what a process.
Yeah. Goddamn.
Yeah. No, it's been, it was a bit of a whirlwind at the end, considering it kind of took so long to come together. And then at the end, it's like, bam, 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 bam. Get this over the line.
God damn. Okay, so did you guys have any difficulty kind of alternating between all the different headspaces, it kind of being thrown around from, well, we don't like how it sounds here because it sounds rushed, let's just do it all over again, and then packing up a van and recording backup vocals, and then just all the switching and moving around? Was there any difficulty with that, or was it just kind of like,
it's what it calls for?
I mean, yeah, it's kind of, we looked at it and we were like, this is kind of what needs to be done. Like we did the whole first record in like in the garage at my parents' house that we turned into like a studio rehearsal room.
Hmm.
And we really liked how that turned out. So we were like, although it felt like you're going backwards a bit, and you're like, look, we've paid for this time in Seattle,
Mm-hmm.
and we're not going to use it. It seems like a silly move from like a budget perspective, but we were like, it's got to be right, and we want
Yeah.
to do the songs justice, kind of thing. So I think once we kind of overcome that sort of, no, we are going to redo this stuff, then we were going to kind of just all steam ahead then.
Fair enough.
Makes
An
sense.
album.
It did feel a bit weird just re-recording the parts that had done like a couple of months ago.
Yeah, revisiting, that's crazy.
An
Yeah,
album.
you're like, oh, this again.
I thought we were done.
I
Yeah.
still can't wrap my head around an album in 5 days. Attempting to record a full album in 5 days.
Oh,
That's nuts.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think we were trying to do it. Like we were all playing around the kit basically, so we were all in our little like separate rooms playing, and I don't think. I think we were close. We were close, but I don't think we were tight enough to have all of the parts kind of perfect in that setting, essentially. So but we got really good kind of live feel for the drums,
Okay.
and that was the main thing that came out of it. Because like obviously, like bands used to have to be like incredible, top tier, like know the back of each other's hands kind of thing to be able to record like live all as one go. And like nowadays obviously you don't have to do that, and you can do everything in separate bits. So it was a nice challenge to try and kind of do it all in one go, but it's to try and get a record perfect, especially in 5 days when you've got to, and it takes like half a day to set up the drums at least. So yeah, it just it was a nice idea, but,
it was a nice thought.
cool
It was a
in
good
theory.
attempt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never again.
Yeah.
no.
No. So is there any meaning behind the album title or cover art?
Yeah, so we this kind of came together quite last minute, because I don't think that the kind of title track as well, Face in the Mirror, I don't think we had that one in Seattle. So that was one of the ones we kind of recorded at home. And again, one of those songs that comes together quite quickly, and it had a kind of this strong message and this like title, Face in the Mirror. And it was mostly James who wrote the other James who wrote the lyrics for the that song. And I feel like quite a lot of the time we'll start writing a song and like it's always music first and like lyrics and melodies afterwards. And half the time you don't really know what you're writing the song about until you're almost halfway through and you think, oh, that's what my subconscious is kind of telling me.
Yeah.
That's what I'm clearly feeling, or at least that's the emotion that this music's given me. And it was definitely like, I mean, as you heard from the recording like process, it was definitely like a hard time kind of creatively, and we'd be doing tours where we might earn like it might break even. We'd be doing tours where we're like not making money and we got like a merch bill to pay at the end kind of thing. And just getting back in the room and trying to finish these songs off through like both of us working and doing jobs. And like I go off somewhere in the morning, come and try and be really creative, and then go off to work my shift in the afternoon and then come back again to do more stuff. So I think we were quite burnt out at that point. And yeah, the whole Face in the Mirror thing is kind of looking at your reflection and like seeing where you are in life or like how you're feeling about everything. And I think previous to this album, especially James wasn't in a good headspace with that, and I didn't really enjoy what was happening and like the kind of reflection coming back. But almost like through writing that song and through writing a bunch of these songs on the album, because there's a few different kind of points that hit that as well, like throughout the record. It's just it ended up being quite introspective to us, and looking at like where we were and where we wanted to be. And then so we thought that would be that kind of sums up the album. So we thought if there's going to be one track that kind of sums up the album kind of meaning wise, then that would be Face in the Mirror. And then we spent a bunch of time looking for this like a really cool photo of this bird kind of like looking at itself in the mirror, because I think that you don't quote me on this, but I think birds are like one of the like one of the few that are kind of intelligent enough to like see their own reflection
Oh
and like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
understand what it
Like
is.
crows or something. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah, we found, and it like, to me, like that picture, we had a few on the go, but that one really like, it struck me like kind of like the blurredness of it as well. It kind of looks like an old grunge album kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like especially the colors as well. It's like moody and it's dark, and
Hmm.
you get that reflection as well. And that's kind of how that came together. We almost called it something different. We almost called it Riding the Tiger,
Oh,
which is off another
okay.
song, and it
Yeah.
had this whole I think we might use the art for it because it was like a tattoo style of like a tiger, almost as like a bucking bronco with a saddle on it. It was pretty cool. I really liked
That's
it,
dope. Yeah.
but it didn't I don't think it like captured the mood of the album as much as this other idea did.
Yeah,
Fair
I was gonna
enough.
say, I think what you have right now kind of encapsulates all of it. It's perfect.
Yeah, it seems to like
Mhm.
I always hate the I mean I love art, but when you get to the point of like, all right, well now we need one image to sum up these like 10 songs and a
Mhm.
title, you're like, how the hell did you do that?
Yeah, how the fuck does that happen?
Tall order.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So can you tell us a little bit about the writing process for the album?
It's always so the band's always been me and the other James.
Mhm.
And we wrote the songs for this record. Um he's definitely more of a head on like initial ideas and like something simple that we can write over, and like he's great on lyrics. But a lot of the time I'll come up with like some sort of guitar idea and then just absolutely go to town on it because I just start hearing everything in my head basically.
Yeah.
And I as like a little background thing, I like I've always been out like since I was 13 I've been playing guitar. So I've always been playing guitar and like feel like I've got a good ear for music at least.
Mhm.
But the only thing I couldn't do was write drums, and I just couldn't find a drummer to rely on. And
Mm.
I looked at like some of my like favorite artists at the time. So like the fact that like Dave Grohl recorded that first Foo Fighters EP just all by himself.
Yeah.
And there's another band from Britain called Dinosaur Pilot,
Mm.
and they're just like they're a rocking band. And Matt, the guy, recorded in that same way, recorded the first record just all by himself. And I
Damn.
was like, if I really want to do this, if I want to like know everything, like I've got to learn drums.
Hmm.
So I spent like as a guitarist, and I spent like 3 years like solidly learning drums,
That's
so that
crazy.
I'd be able to like write drums basically, and like nothing could hold me back. So
Wow.
yeah, so like I'll have a guitar idea, for example. Like I could just be like sat in my flat, just kind of playing on an unplugged guitar, have like an idea for a riff,
Mm.
like voice note it on my phone. And then like already I've got like in the background of my head like a drum part and like a
Mm.
bass part, and I'll jump onto Logic. I just try and flesh it out
Mm.
in the way that makes the most sense to me.
Yeah. That's
And
so
that
fucking cool.
yeah, that's how a lot of the songs start.
Mm.
And then there's just a big process of going back and forth and being like, is that the best chorus for it, or where do we want to take it during the song? And you're like, also this song's 5 minutes, it doesn't need to be 5 minutes.
Mm.
And we do a lot of redrafting on lyrics as well. Like lyrics and melody is like really important to us. I think there's so many things we listen to nowadays, and it's just kind of just like nonsense lyrics basically.
Yeah.
And like I know you could say the Beatles had some kind of nonsense lyrics, and things don't like it's almost like when you're in school and you're doing English and they're like the curtains were blue, and they're like you don't know if the author's really trying to say something deep and meaningful in the
Yeah.
subtext about that. They could just be like, I'm just setting the scene, that's the color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're fucking blue
But
curtains. Yeah.
yeah, we like to kind of imagine it that way though, as in because yeah, people are gonna be listening to these lyrics. Like we want it to actually mean something about the song, so you can actually give a great performance of it rather than just singing nonsense words and playing the riffs hard. So
Yeah.
we've been there'll be a lot of days where we're just back and forth, just trying to get a good lyric for this one bit, or like maybe we like switch it all around and like puzzle it together, just to make something that really makes something make sense to us and like carries meaning.
Damn
So
straight.
yeah, it's just all a mixture of that basically. Just
Gotcha.
That's
over and over and
insane.
over again until we get something that we like.
Yeah. And I just want to say, like, major respect to you for like putting in the time and effort to learn drums as a guitarist, because
No,
we've
thank you.
spoken to guitarists who are like, guitarists should not touch like programmed drums because they do not
Hmm.
understand the amount of effort and time and skill that it takes to actually take the programmed drums into real drums. So it's just like, thank you, because you know
Yeah.
how difficult it can be, how many limbs you have to use.
Yeah, that's
So
it.
insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's it. Like a lot of the time, like a guitarist will put something. It's like you need like an octopus to play that, basically.
Exactly. Yeah, it makes no fucking sense. Yeah,
And it's like, why are you hitting the snare and the kick drum at the same time? Like that's just not. It's just not doable.
that's not
But
how
That's
it fucking
awesome.
works.
yeah, but like we always have a kit set up in the room. So like I'll make sure if I'm like if I've gone to town a bit on the programming, then I'll sit behind the kit and like make sure it's actually playable.
Yeah.
Like I'm not as like I wouldn't be able to do a Colgan set kind of all the way through because it's pretty demanding. And
Mhm.
I've written the drums for like my perfect drummer who's like amazing and like that's all they've done all their life. So
Yeah.
like I know how to do it. So I can put the I could so what song is it? It's on Twist the Knife. I put in the it's like the hurters that they have in like in the middle of nowhere knows.
Mhm.
It's like the dill the dill the dill, and I was like, I can't play those, but I was like, we've got a drummer who can play those, and like I want that in the
Exactly.
song. So like I could just put all the like crazy hard bits in the drums, knowing that I never have to play them.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
Make
but
it
they're
his problem.
doable.
But they are
Exactly.
doable. They are doable. Yeah, and I know they're
Exactly.
doable.
Yeah.
Damn straight. That's fucking awesome. All right. What song off the album took the longest to write, and which one is your personal favorite?
I'm gonna say maybe it's probably one of the ones that I sing on um as one of the longest to write, only because I kind of had free reign on the lyrics, and sometimes you get kind of put into a corner where you've got a really good melody,
Hmm.
and but the lyrics they just don't they're not like cohesive, and then you're like, oh,
Yeah.
but I need to be able to sing something over these exact kind of this exact phrasing now. Um, so maybe I'll say Above the Lake for one of the longest. But like had the verse idea and had the pre-chorus, and I think we went to like maybe three or four different choruses for that song because just
Woof.
nothing felt like particularly right. And
Hmm.
then it ended up being kind of a different structure rather than like your verse, pre-chorus, chorus, kind of repeat. Ended
Yeah.
up being kind of a verse, pre-chorus, back to another verse, back to pre-chorus, back to chorus. So we kind of built up a lot of anticipation for it. So it was
Hmm.
like it needs to be a really good chorus, otherwise it's just gonna fall flat after all that time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we spent a while trying to really kind of get the flow of that song
Hmm.
and
And
just
which
really
song
kind
was
of
that again?
above the lake.
Above Lake. Thank you. Hmm.
Yeah. And just nail the lyrics on that one. But I think it turned out really well. I love that song.
Hmm.
Um, and personal favorite, I might say Twist the Knife
Hmm.
because yeah, that was a it came at a good time for me. Again, we didn't do that one in Seattle. That was back at home when I was I was in this flat actually. I was downstairs just trying to play on my guitar, just trying to come up with some ideas. And I was getting really stuck.
Hmm.
And like my girlfriend works from home and she was like, look, why don't you just put on an album that you love?
Yeah.
Just listen to that. Like stop playing right now. Listen to an album that you love and then come back to it.
Yeah.
So I listened to Super Unknown by Soundgarden
Okay.
and then sat back down with the guitar and like within a couple of minutes, like I had this riff and it was like janky, but it was groovy. And I
Hmm.
was like, it's weird, but like I can totally see it working.
Yeah.
Um, just again went off in my head then and started writing the rest of the song, even though I didn't have any melodies or vocals or anything. Kind of fitted in this like almost like Led Zepp kind of run down on the guitar for the pre-chorus,
Mm.
with all these like open strings ringing and like I really love that part. And it's like a simple. I get to rip a solo in the middle of that one,
Hell yeah.
so
Hmm.
it's super fun. And we've been playing that live as well, and I really like how that song hits live. So that's probably my favorite.
Love
Hell
it.
yeah.
Hell yeah.
Wonderful.
So how'd the track list for your album come about? Did you guys write the opener be the opener, closer be a closer, shuffle around and see what fits? What was that process like?
Um, we wanted a really strong start, I remember, And I think once we decided on the album being called Face in the Mirror, we were like, it's got to start with that song. But it felt like a good opener as well. And I think we knew we wanted it to end with Meet My Maker, just because it's this kind of slow build, and then it really just kind of pops off at the end. It's this big kind of grand end into the record. I think we tried a few different variations, which again is long because you want to listen to it as a whole. But like each time you like move like one or two songs about, you're like, all right, that's another 35 minutes of listening for me to to really get the vibe of this and the track listen to see how it works. So I think we had like 3 versions and everyone listened to them, and we had like the label kind of weigh in as well. But we knew we wanted kind of most of the singles to be in the first like the first 4 songs. Save the really heavy song for towards the end of the record so it doesn't shock anyone. And we kind of placed the kind of the punkier, the faster ones, I think riding the Tiger's second, I think. So it's like you have this like opening song and then you're like, bam, here's the energy, like this is where we're going. And then another one of those, I think it's just like like the opener of side B, then you just hit with like another, like the other fast song on the record, just to kind of keep everyone there. It's like, oh, we're not stopping, kind of thing.
Just keep kicking them in the teeth.
That's it.
Hell yeah.
Wonderful. And would you be able to tell us where your headspace is at while you're creating this record?
It was definitely up and down. Definitely up and down. Because we've been doing this record, we've been doing this band. Me and James started, I mean, technically 2019. And we put out a few songs, had this like elaborate plan of like, we're gonna hit the ground running, touring, and then COVID hit. So that kind of took us back probably like 1.5, 2 years before the music industry kind of fully recovered with going back to gigs. I say fully recovered, got back to doing gigs properly. So we've had some like really great moments, but then we've had like a lot of downtime as well, and especially between trying to do the record and trying to work as well to like live essentially. There's definitely really great times, there's definitely kind of really low times, like especially when you're halfway through kind of retracking songs that are just not good enough, as well as trying to write the best songs of your life, and just going down there every day. And I think looking back on it, like I kind of pride me and James to kind of turning up every day, even if it's not exactly what we wanted to do, just to try and just get something a little bit further along, or even just to be together to kind of chat things through and have someone else to lean on. But I kind of touched on that in Above the Lake as well. So there's like lyrics in there like, silence brings me peace when it's so loud, and like I stare into the stars above the lake. And that's all about, so like right opposite where we're going to rehearse and record is this like kind of like big lake. It's like a country, kind of people walk their dogs around there and stuff. But that was always a place that we went to when things got like really kind of, I'm not gonna say depressing, but when you're just hitting a wall so many times, you're like, we're not doing anything here, let's just go out. And it'd be kind of just dark over there, but like there's literally no one over there, and you're just there with like the open night sky and stars and everything, and it just allows you to kind of reset a little bit and just shut the music out for a second and like really kind of center yourself. So like that song was almost like, for me, therapy of like the feelings of like that, like the kind of headspace we were at when like writing this record. And like I personally feel a lot better from writing that song, because like it gets to the point where like if someone's a bit down, they're like, oh, I don't know how much longer I can do this kind of thing. Like I'm barely paying my rent every month. I'm not sure what I'm going to do for the next couple of months. And you get you get the ups and downs of those kind of feelings. And then it might be like suddenly a tour comes along and you're like, oh no, this is all great, we love this again. Or you might get like one day where you get like, you get an idea for a new song and it comes together really quickly, and you're like, oh no, wait, we can really do this.
Yeah.
But then you might have like, I don't know, it could be like a week where like you get nothing done, and then like you go back on the weekend and you're like, oh, gotta go back Monday and do this again, and you get into it's a bit of a downward spiral with it all.
Yeah.
But it's nice having someone else to kind of bounce back and forth and get you through it, because I don't think I could do it alone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly, your team.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So how do you recommend your fans to listen to this album for the first time? Should you do it in the car with friends, in dark with headphones on? Is it a workout album, party album? What do you personally recommend?
I'd say it's pretty good for the car. I don't think it's a party album. And although it is quite introspective, I think it would be weird to sit in the dark and listen to that record, especially with just like some of the punkier numbers. It's kind of so I think definitely with friends, and just played nice and loud, just how rock music's meant to be.
Yeah,
damn straight.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. And this one should be super, super quick off the top of your head. I want you to describe this album for new listeners in 3 words. No more, no less.
Okay. I'm going to say energetic, introspective, and real.
Ooh, hell yeah.
Those are good.
Those are my
yeah.
There you go.
And in that same train of thought, is there a certain feeling or emotion you want listeners to have while going through the album?
I think just an openness to listen. Because I'd probably say this with any album, and I'm guilty of it as well. Kind of, you listen to something once, and we're kind of so ingrained into pop music structures and everything else, where just you got this instant gratification of some band's got a crazy weird sound that they like to put in, and it's more of a, I know I find a lot of things, they're just more kind of fun parts put together as a song just to keep your attention. We definitely didn't write those in that way. Like, we've always been very songwriting driven, and like that's how I kind of I'd like it to be listened to. As someone who just wants to listen to kind of real kind of like structured songs and get into that like again and again, like the record gets better like the more you listen to it, kind of thing. So yeah, just the patience to give kind of rock that's not trying to do any crazy thrills and excitement bits. Give it a real try.
Hell yeah.
Makes sense. Hell yeah. And are you able to touch on any particularly challenging or standout moments during the creation of the album, positive or negative?
The most positive things are like when you get into the room and like say I have a riff idea, and then like 4 days of nothing, and then suddenly in a day, half a day, you've got a song. That's always the best feeling. Also, like, even though we didn't take everything from Seattle, kind of spending 5 days there recording in this like amazing studio was like memories for lifetime kind of thing. Like Chris Cornell had like sung in there, like they did I think it was Down on the Upside was recorded there, like we used like the Mastodon snare, and like Limp Bizkit had recorded there. And like halfway through as well, like Stone who was like our label guy, came to just have like a little listen and like see how things are going, and like always meeting him is a pleasure. And who else did we meet there as well? It was Lance. I want to say Lance, I can't remember his second name, but he's taken photos of like Joan Jett and Kurt Cobain with the glasses. Like, he's like a legendary like grunge photographer. And like he came down to just shoot some pics like one day, and it was like, just to be in like the same room as these kind of people is absolutely nuts.
Exactly. Yeah, it's huge.
That's fucking
I lost my mind personally.
Oh yeah, no, it's like, I never take any of this for granted, but like that was like, although it was challenging, that was like a super fun time. Like just being there, even if we didn't use everything. And then obviously probably the lowest point was the coming back and realizing that we actually did have a lot more work to do.
Yeah. Absolutely. So for this question, I want you to picture you're on tour, you're at a gas station for a rest stop. What is your snack of choice?
That was my snack of choice. Okay, so if we're talking gas station, I'm in America.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I'm vegan, so
Hell yeah.
it's not always easy in some of the kind of middle states to find something good. So normally I'm rustling around on the back of crisp packets, trying to find something that doesn't have milk in.
Yeah.
Yeah. For whatever reason. Yeah.
Yeah, they just chuck it in anything for it for whatever reason. But I can't remember what they were called. Maybe there's like Fritos. They
Yeah.
do like a refried bean, like a
Ooh.
little dip thing. So
Yeah.
like I'll get like a little can of that and like whatever like tortilla chips or whatever that I can eat. And then I always seem to go for because they make it seem like they're going to be healthy. And also you don't drink much water. Well, you don't drink as much water as you should on tour because you're just in the car or the van for like so long. So I get the Gatorades with the electrolytes in them.
Yeah.
They kind of taste like a bit salty, but I kind of like the taste now.
They do. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
So yeah, I just fill myself up on like chips and dip and Gatorade.
And Gatorade. Yeah, hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Classic balanced meal.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
balanced.
I mean, it's a bit different all around the world. So like if we're in like, for example, like Switzerland, it's like mega, mega expensive there. Like you talk like I couldn't even like eat a sandwich from there because they've all got like ham in basically. But they'd be like 11, 12 euros for a sandwich.
Whoa.
But they do like really cheap bread. So like I'll just go in and just get a plain baguette for like €1.50 and get a black coffee. And then that's my meal from that
solid.
From that place. So it's different all around the world, but
Damn. All right. And on the topic of food, if the band was a dish, what dish would the band be and why?
It would definitely be some sort of Vietnamese dish.
Oh yeah.
Because we're all that's like not everyone in the band's vegan, but we're all big fans of Vietnamese food. So especially going through places like Germany, there's actually like way more vegan Vietnamese places than you'd expect.
Yeah.
To be there. So I think I'm gonna go with a pad thai maybe. It doesn't sound that exciting.
It's delicious.
But you can it's delicious, it's nutritious, and you can spice it up as well. But that's a meal that we'd always kind of everyone's like it's like oh where can we eat? And everyone's looking for Vietnamese.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. Hell yeah. And for the last couple questions, going to shift completely away from music and go straight to death row.
Boom.
So if you're on death row, what would your last meal be with a drink?
I'm going to say food's a big one. I love food.
Yeah.
I love food. And even as like as a vegan, you think that like I've cut myself off to the world of food, but I haven't. I still like one of my favorites. Like I love lasagna.
Oh, yeah.
And so it might have to be just the perfect lasagna with like garlic bread, like maybe some like asparagus on the side. And then drink. Normally I go for beer, but if I'm on death row, I'm gonna go with like champagne or something.
Exactly. Hey, go with a bang.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, do I have to pay for it?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna go with the most expensive bottle of champagne.
There you go.
Top, yeah.
Stick it to the government.
Yeah, damn straight. And if you could live in one fictional world for a week, where would you live?
Again, very good. Very good. I've not been asked this question before.
Wonderful. Love to hear that.
First time for everything.
For a week. Can I make up my own fictional world?
No, we typically like ask for like, like movies, books, comics, that type of shit. Yeah.
I'm gonna say the world of Shrek.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a magical land. I get to be in this crazy cartoon world.
Yeah.
And they've got the villains on lock. I don't need to worry about that. I'm just gonna live by a pond and talk with all the magical creatures.
Damn straight. Yeah, all right.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
All right. And I've not asked the last question. Every single person I've spoken to have said that it is the most important question. What is your favorite color?
I'm a blue and pink guy. It's day to day which I'm going on.
Yeah.
But definitely like a pastel version of those colors.
Yeah, soft.
Hell yeah.
Soft,
Wonderful.
yeah.
All right.
I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Hell yeah.
Well, as I said, that's all the questions I have today. Is there anything that you would like to plug?
I mean, just if you haven't listened to the record, give it a try. Like, I obviously love it. I wouldn't put it out if I didn't love it.
Fair enough.
And yeah, I say keep an eye out for like wherever you are in the world. Like we'll hopefully be touring there soon. Like we've got like this record's out now. We're itching to get back to the States. I think we might be waiting a couple of months to go there, but also we're just about, I think we're like 2 weeks off heading out to Europe for about a month or so. So the plan now is once we've gone through all the fun times and the hardships of actually recording and writing the album, we just want to get out and play as many places as possible. So listen to the record and come check us out, and we'll probably be at the merch desk after the show anyway to chat to you. So I look forward to seeing you, basically.
Hell yeah.
Wonderful.
All right. Well, thank you. Sounds been James from James and the Cold Gun, and we have been the Good Noise Podcast.